Did Patrick Bet-David just tell the world that Ripple is in the process of replacing Swift? During today's episode, we're going to address those rumors, going over several different articles and updates from the Patrick Bet-David program, highlighting how a shift has been happening for years behind the scenes. We're also going to cover some XRP price chart data, showing us that the BNB chart could be the catalyst that XRP goes through later on this year. With that token going from $500 to over $1,200 over the past couple of weeks, XRP could have similar price action on the horizon. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news related channel. If you enjoy this content, smash that like button and let the YouTube algorithm know, hey, these guys, they're all right over here. We're going to keep showing you their content. But let's get started with some of the exciting updates that I have for you guys today. Patrick Bet-David just highlighted how he believes Ripple is in the process of replacing Swift. And this is a conversation that dates all the way back to 2022 when Patrick Bet-David interviewed John Deaton live on his platform. Since then, we've seen government adoption, US regulation, ETF applications, and so much more. But the major topic that we're going to be breaking down today, the US banking system shifting behind the scenes and opening up the floodgates of liquidity for products like the XRP ledger. This is a brand new video that just came out this morning of Patrick Bet-David talking about Ripple, Swift, and of course, the inevitable replacement of these old and outdated systems. Here it is.
Not gonna lie, so I definitely see the future for crypto. I see the use cases for it. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what replaces the SWIFT system because it's a really antiquated way that we trade money from country to country or person to person. So that needs to be replaced. But I can't help but be a little bit creeped out about Bitcoin because of the fact that we've never seen the creator of it before, and the creator's name literally means central intelligence. Satoshi Nakamoto means central intelligence. So that's a little bit weird. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I think the fact that BlackRock and everybody is adopting it shows that it could be legitimate. I think central banks will start putting on their reserves. And when that happens, then it'll be just like similar to cash. But I wonder what the winner is going to be in terms of like what's used for the global payment system. So whatever technology is best.
It may be none of that. You know, it may not be a payment system. It may be just an asset to hold. I mean, literally, you can't
store value.
Lop off a corner of that gold bar and go buy a cup of coffee. It could be. It could be that every company, every country, and every company will need a Bitcoin treasury. Will need to just have it in their treasury somewhere. That's a massive amount of buying. The way every company, if you're not starting the AI program right now, you're way behind. You're going to be left behind.
Yeah, I do think we should do a gold standard type of thing with an asset that is able to grow and like faster than gold is able to grow. So like to restrain our money supply in some way. Like I get the reason for getting off the gold standard, but I think Bitcoin or something like that can serve as a way to somewhat restrain or keep the money supply under control.
Yeah. So then the question becomes, do you think Swift eventually is going to get replaced?
Yes.
It has to.
What do you think, Tom?
Yeah.
So we're yes, I do. We're in, a lot of things are evolving. You know, and they're being replaced by, you know, modern systems. I mean, you look. I think we're on the 2-year anniversary of LIBOR went away, and we replaced it with SOFR. So there's a lot of things that just naturally evolving in the financial services industry, and SWIFT is one. Was one transport system, and thanks to blockchain and other things you can put together, you're going to have different transfer systems. I mean, look at right now. It's very, very interesting. ACH is younger than Wire, right? Yet Wire is still faster. Mm-hmm. So sometimes modern things get in their own way.
What a great point, Tom. What a great point. ACH is younger than Wire, yet Wire is faster. So you're saying
with 10 warnings on it. When you click here, the other bank's going to get it. Be sure it's a bank.
Yeah, but you got guys. You hear Ripple, XRP, Swift, what that could do, and you saw how much money was put into Ripple just in the last couple of days. Record breaking for them as well, XRP. So what is your thoughts with that?
Yeah, I think that Swift is a very antiquated system, and it's funny how like it's actually like a messaging device where you say, hey, we're sending you over X amount of money, like, okay, then the bank adjusts accordingly. So it doesn't actually send money as far as I understand it. But all the stats I've seen on how fast Ripple could do it, or any of the others that are competitors for that, they can do it much faster, much more cheaply. And that's really the pain point of replacing that system, is because you can't send money, a large amount of money, to somebody in another place in the world instantly right now.
You're not alone. A lot of people are thinking that. A lot of people are saying that. We had a meeting last week, Tom, you and I at Casa D'Angelo, with a guy that's working with a different coin that people are talking about. But that's the discussion. What is eventually going to replace that? By the way, to validate what you were talking about with the ETF, Bitcoin today, Fidelity buys $112 million in Bitcoin as ETFs see $1.19 billion in inflows. Okay.
There you have it, guys. And we're going to see that same ETF craze happen for the XRP community. But I would love to know, do you believe XRP is in the process of replacing SWIFT? Smash that like button if you agree. And if you disagree, leave a comment. But we know that Brad Garlinghouse has already stated by the year 2030, he believes that the XRP ledger will absorb 14% of SWIFT payments. That's $700 billion worth of daily volume every single day for the XRP community. And that doesn't include ETFs, that doesn't include retail investors or stable coins or tokenized assets. So the floodgates are really about to open. And the reason that I believe Patrick Bet-David is talking about this on his platform, which is not a crypto show, is because these ideas are on the horizon. Eric Trump is stating it. Donald Trump is stating it. Industry executives all around the world are talking about how the United States is making major changes to the way they interact with blockchain protocols. And Ripple and the XRP ledger continue to come up time and time again. I would encourage our listeners to stick around to the end of the video to go through the XRP price chart. But Johnny, what's your reaction? And do you believe SWIFT is in the process of being replaced by Ripple and the XRP ledger?
Boy, do I wish I was in the room on that one. That chat, when they were talking, I couldn't agree more. They were talking about a system that is so old and antiquated. I mean, it's older than my grandmother. I mean, it's crazy that we're even still talking about a system that literally sends a message that says, hey, you need to move this much money to that much place in 2025 apps. No, that is going away. What's going to happen is the SWIFT system, one or two things are going to happen, okay? Either the SWIFT system itself is going to cannibalize itself, and they are going to transform it into a blockchain, orientated system with real-time settlement, or another company is going to come and do it. And we know right now the best technology out there to do that. We know that Ripple had created it, and we know that XRP, the technology, is right now the technology that's designed to do that. The thing that's been mind-boggling to me is why Swift just hasn't picked up the phone and said, hey, I need that. Let's go. And boom, they can literally cannibalize themselves rather than just talk about bringing on an Ethereum system, which is old. Even that's old and antiquated. If you think about it from that perspective, it just doesn't make sense. It moves too slow and it's too expensive. So, but yes, I do believe the SWIFT system will be replaced in either one of those two scenarios. Time will tell which one is the winner.
And I want to dispel some of the rumors about Chainlink stepping in and competing for the same market share that Ripple is, because what Chainlink's protocol is built on is the Oracle network, which shares accurate data. And users in the Oracle network who share accurate data are rewarded in the Chainlink token. The XRP ledger is something totally different. The XRP ledger is built to process payments instantaneously, meaning that you have to use the XRP token in order to facilitate the use case. So you must differentiate these things in your mind, but that's not where the Ripple connections end. There is a company called ACI, which is partnered with Swift. It's called ACI Worldwide. They do 14% of all Swift transactions globally. Now, of course, yes, ACI Worldline is a longtime partner of Swift, but they are also a partner of Ripple. And they're working to integrate Ripple's technology in order to incorporate faster, cheaper payments going cross-border every single day. But that's not where the rabbit hole ends between Patrick Bet-David and Ripple XRP. Here's another time where PBD is outlining just how important Ripple's technology is.
That happens. If XRP replaces SWIFT and FedNow, you know what happens? Let me give you some numbers here. XRP's ledger processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds at nearly no cost, making it significantly faster and cheaper than SWIFT. So SWIFT processes $5 trillion daily, or 1.25 quadrillion annually. If you didn't know what that was,
wow.
Quadrillion annually, SWIFT. If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually. The demand for XRP, by the way, it could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token, with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000. Now, who those analysts are, I'm willing to bet those analysts own Ripple. And that's why they're writing this. Hey, analysts, just because I say analyst says, it doesn't mean they're 100% right, but yeah, it is a way of looking at what could happen with this. If this were to happen, it's a big deal. Now, the roadblock that they have are a couple things. One is the SEC lawsuit that has slowed adoption. Ripple was fined $125 million, significantly less than the original $2 billion. November 2024, report surfaced that Gary Gensler planned departure in January 2025. Hello, that was a big moment for them because Gary was a guy that was not happy about it. He kind of had some favors with a couple friends he had different places. Legal experts, including attorney Jeremy Hogan, speculated that this could lead to a resolution of Ripple case by spring or early summer of 2025. December 2nd, XRP's market performance showed significant growth with a 123% growth, increased since SEC's initial lawsuit, showing signs of optimism. So who knows what's going to be happening? When the president, his name is Donald Trump, and he puts something on Truth Social, and the first one he puts up is XRP, then the retweet, he says, let me also give some love to Bitcoin and Ethereum. That means some of the people behind closed doors that are in his ear, like a guy like Elon Musk and some of the other people, maybe something's about to happen. I would be paying attention. That's all I'm saying to you.
And here we are a year after this video was produced, Johnny, and it appears things are ready to change here inside the United States. Love to hear your reaction.
I mean, he just summed it up perfectly in every aspect of how he showed you what's happening, where the value is. And, you know, we've talked many times on the show apps of XRP, you know, being a possibly 3-digit number. And then you've heard people even say 1,000, right? And we literally just recently were talking about what 1,000 would mean. It would mean $100 trillion market cap, which is ridiculously off the chart. But as you heard in that short clip, that if XRP were to get the whole entire kit and caboodle, that is potentially possible. And so I'm not saying they are, and I don't think anybody should claim that they are. But what gives me excitement about that is when I think about how I saw Amazon move from $1 to $120 to $3,300 over a 20-year period of time. It would not make me not believe that we couldn't see the same thing happening for Ripple over time as it continues to move up into the 2 digits and then into the 3 digits. And then when you're in the 3 digits, now you're real. Now you're like, okay, now I'm in the ball game. Now the countries, the companies, they know like, okay, this is something that we need to now figure out how do we use. And that's where you get that explosive growth, potentially someday into maybe a 4-digit number, right? Into the 1,000 range. But for me, I look at it as it's something that I know we're in extremely early. For me, I'm holding on. I'm not making 1997 mistakes all over again. I have an exit plan. I will be holding on to a good chunk of it, anywhere from 100 to 1,000. I mean, people should be prepared to take some profits on that. That just seems like great, and I think it's very potential when you think of where this technology can lead us. Abs, it can literally be running the financial systems of the world.
And let's not forget, Donald Trump did mention XRP when he first talked about a strategic crypto reserve inside the United States. If you're enjoying this content, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. You're going to get an update every single day. But for the people who stuck around for the XRP price chart update, this is the exciting information you've been waiting for. And Johnny Krypto, we are showing a correlation to the 1999 Amazon price chart and where XRP is today. Now, why is this data relevant? Because back in 1999, Amazon created a speculative bull market for the price chart and reached about $5. Well, it took another 10 years before this asset went on to break and create new all-time highs, and the price chart really speaks for itself. Once it broke $5, it was quickly a $25 asset over the next couple of years. We're looking at something extremely similar here for XRP. What do you see when you look at this price chart? You see an all-time high created in 2017, 8 years of down and sideways trading for XRP. And finally, we have broken above this key range of resistance, and the breakout has already begun for the XRP community. Newer community members don't appreciate the fact that this asset was 47 cents 365 days ago. Now it's 285 on a pullback, but that's not where the correlations end. When you look at the XRP price chart compared to what BNB has already done during this bull market, it's a very similar correlation. This is an asset that once again created new all-time highs, tested those ranges, consolidated, and broke out, eventually going from a $500 asset in July to over $1,200 here in October of 2025. XRP is creating a really similar structure. It has these 3 market tops, retesting all-time highs. We're in the midst of that correction, and eventually a large breakout occurs at the end of this. So drawing these correlations between Amazon and BNB and all this exciting momentum where I tell you, Johnny, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. This is a primary example of that. Look at the XRP community. They're so focused on these next 3 months. We are already in bull market territory when you look at the next few years. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if by the end of the Trump administration, we're looking at an asset that could not only be 2 digits, but over 3 digits. And I've outlined that on several different occasions. Whether SWIFT adopts this technology or not, institutions have arrived, and now it's the price chart's time to prove us correct. So if you're looking to do the same strategies that we implement here on Good Evening Crypto, I would advise everybody sign up for Merlin and click on the ITrust Capital link below. Now, why did these two ideas play off one another? Merlin is going to allow our listeners to understand where they should be taking profit in this market, and ITrust is going to allow our listeners to take that profit tax-free through an IRA product. Now, that's not the best part about this. We are giving new clients a $100 sign-up bonus using the promo code GEC9. So I would encourage everybody, click on the link below the video, use promo code GEC9, and set yourself up for success during this crypto bull market.
And don't forget, Abs, we're moving into a new paradigm shift of technology. And right now, what typically will drive that is the investment or the liquidity investments from institutions and from companies. You have kind of like this beautiful, perfect storm, similar to 96 and 97, where we got the Telecom Act passed, and then you had liquidity from institutions that didn't want to miss it. I call it iFOMO. But then you also had companies investing into technology because they knew they needed it to grow their businesses, like an Amazon or Google or a Microsoft and all the Verizon, right? All the telecom businesses. You can literally see the same thing. You say this all the time. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Well, let me tell you, there's a rhyme coming, baby, and it's called the Clarity Act. And I believe the Clarity Act is very, very similar to the Telecom Act. That's going to trigger this whole thing. And then boom, that right there, what you see on the chart eventually comes to fruition, because you're going to have so much new money coming into this space because they don't want to miss the boat. And they all knew, you know, back in 96, 97, nobody knew what the internet was and what it was going to mean. Everybody now knows what it means when there's a new technology and what happens if you miss the boat, and they're not going to want to miss this boat. And so that's why I'm very, very excited about where we're headed in the future and believe that we could be looking at 2 and 3 digits down the road. But just short-term, Abs, we have a massive speculative bull run on the horizon, in my opinion.
It's an exciting time to be a crypto investor, guys. And the big takeaway here, people like Patrick Bet-David are talking about cryptocurrency. We have a sitting president talking about cryptocurrency. All of these different analysts who for a long time wouldn't even address the asset class, they are now advocates for the industry. And we're really just waiting for the price charts to catch up in correlation. So I'd love to hear underneath the video, what is your 2025 peak price projection for XRP? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 50? Is it 100? Leave that comment underneath the video. And while you're at it, smash that like button. We'll see you all in the next one.